Good morning, class. This morning we are going to look at the unit circle. We want to utilize the unit circle to learn about vectors as well as their trigonometric relationships. And when I speak about trigonometric relationships, I'm talking about angles and their connection to magnitudes of sides in a triangle. So I'm going to explain the theory to you. I'm going to show you the experiment. It's all going to be interrelated, all right? So I want you guys to gear up and let's go. Let's go ahead and go to Moodle Mobile. Everybody should be signed into Moodle Mobile. And what you're going to see is a bunch of classes that I have here, and I want to go to the STEM Physics Term 2 2016. So you guys go there as well. We are beyond gearing up, so let's go to Level 3 Experimental Activities. And in Level 3 Experimental Activities, make sure that you look at axiomatic concepts, parts 1 and 2, and vectors part 3. I have some notes down here that are associated with vectors part 3. And I'll put in more notes, even though you don't see them here right now. I will be putting them in. So you might see them in yours and not here on the video. So let's start off. You see this number 1 here, unit circle experimental setup, part 1 instructions. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do it. But we're not going to do it. This is basically here if you're not in class, okay? Or if there's a breakdown in the system or something like that, you can watch this. You can get ahead. So this is like class without the class. It's a YouTube video. It's just instructions. This is our experimental video that we're going to use in video physics. So I'm just going to go ahead and download this. And I'm going to open the file. So it's downloading from the website right now. And these are things that hopefully you will do before the class actually begins, so we can be ready to go. Be as expeditious as possible. So as you can see, it takes a little while for it to download. So it's going to depend on your internet. But let me just play this a little bit for you. All I'm doing is having a rod that's rotating. Okay, we're going to generate a circle. We're going to localize X and Y coordinates, and let's just move from there. So I want to share this with my application, Video Physics. So if you don't see this, that means it's not on your iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. And notice that this has some generic title, Experiment 5. I want to go back to experiments here, and I want to give this an appropriate label. You can see that I have Experiment 4, Experiment 5, Experiment 5. You don't want all of that. You don't want Experiment 3. You don't know what they are. You want to give it a useful label, like unit circle, brass Eric, edge of rod, brass, gravitation, Millikan, so you can know what you're looking at. The way we do this is we just click on this eye. And we want to give this a name. Let's call it unit circle. And give it your last name and your first name. And I'm just going to call this number 4. Okay. Say okay. And so you'll see this change. Now there's another experiment. It says experiment number 5. These are the same. They go hand in hand. If I were to get out of the app, like if I close the app like so, and I were to go back into the app, it's going to go away. I don't know why it's like that, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to go in. The first thing that we want to do in this setup is we want to set our origin and scale. Okay, so I'm just going to select on origin and scale. And I'm going to move this over. This is the origin. okay? And then we want to scale this. So you'll see that this is a pixel rod. As you notice, we have 756 pixels to, they're saying that it's equal to 1 meter. I'm saying that it's equal to 1 meter, but this is our meter stick in the back, so it's clear that it's not equal to 1 meter. So let's set this to something that we know is a standard. If it's a standard, other people can read it. So let me go down here, 10, go to 20. So you can see I'm going from 10 to 20 here. And if I go from 10 centimeters to 20 centimeters, we know that that is just a 1/10 of a meter. So I'm going to put in 0.1, double click, okay. And this is pretty much going to be the setup. Now we're going to take a snapshot of this. So the snapshot is going to be you clicking on the power button or holding down on the power button and then selecting the home button. So I'm going to hold down on the power button, then I'm going to push the home button, and it's going to take up a flash. All right. This is your calibration page. This calibration page can be found in Photos. So it's going to be under Screenshots, and I can just select on this one, and you can see. See here. You can see that the name is here. I can see the calibration. I can see that the origin is set, and I can see that you have this particular experiment properly calibrated. Okay, that means that we have this pixel rod going from 10 to 20. It's 241 pixels, and it's 0.1. Now, if yours is 240 or 242, 243, 239, something like that, that's fine. And if it's some crazy or it looks very large or very small, it could be that your screen resolution is different than mine. Okay? So a bit of the theory on that. Okay, I went to the wrong thing. Let me go to paper by 53. A bit of the theory is going to look like this. So if I go here and I just say, it should be coordinate. And I'll just say done. Give myself a page here. We can quickly talk about coordinate systems like so. All right. Where we can have some horizontal axis. We typically refer to it as X, and then we can have some vertical axis. We typically refer to it as Y. Okay, and we say that they go off like so. And basically we have tick marks here. That 10 centimeters that I set would be that each one of these tick marks are calibrated to that 10 centimeters. So this could be 10 centimeters, 20, 30, 40, 50. And we can have increments inside of here. Do the same thing here. And I can just say this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and we know that this is measured in centimeters. And I can do the same thing over here, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay? So basically, if you remember, any point in here can be represented by an ordered pair. And that ordered pair is X and Y in this particular case. All right. So I'll stop right there and let this be our setup for the first portion of this experiment.